Good evening, Saints. So basically, my friend Chrissy doesn't watch TV. She reads a lot of books, which I think is weird. I mean, don't get me wrong, I read the Bible, that's important, but I don't read books. Yes. So a few months ago, I was recovering from surgery, and I was greeted by Facebook by millions and millions of an outcry from fans of The Walking Dead. And let me tell you, spoiler alert, I'll wait, you can pause it, get off now if you don't want to know anything about it. Glenn dies. It's a thing. I know. I can't believe it. I'm outraged as well. So I didn't really know who Glenn was. And I was like, that's who is this Glenn? Because this is the second time that I've seen that Glenn had died. And I was like, can he die twice? Is this like a soap opera? Like, what happened? So I was like, well, let me watch this since I'm recovering from surgery and I don't have to go to work for the next week or so. Let me watch it. So I watched this show, The Walking Dead, millions of years after it started. And by millions of years, I mean about like six years or so after it started. And it was amazing. And I can't believe I didn't watch it when it was on, even though I'm happy I didn't because Netflix is amazing. So, whilst my binges, I met with my friend Chrissy. What up, Chris? How you doing? She doesn't watch TV, so I was trying to explain to her this amazing episode that I saw of The Walking Dead, which we will get to later, I promise. And she loved the way I explained it. It's like stuff, not to toot my own horn, but I'm good at telling stories. So she told me that even though she doesn't watch TV, that she will watch a show, Grey's Anatomy, on Netflix if I started a YouTube station basically explaining TV shows. And I said absolutely. And I told her I would do it, but I would do it with pearls because I'm classy. I'm a class act. So this is my YouTube station, and this is my episode of The Walking Dead with pearls. Here we are, episode 1 of The Walking Dead. I'm actually not going to go over episode 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm going to give you a little, like, of what happened because I don't feel like going over all that and it's just crazy. But I'll give you a little background story. So, 1, we have Mr. Rick. Rick Grimes is like the reluctant leader because really, he doesn't really know what's going on. He's like super innocent right now because he doesn't understand the fact that zombies have taken over the world. Because in the first episode, he got shot, and then when he was shot, he was in the hospital, and then he woke up, and there was like rah, rah, zombies everywhere. He had literally no idea what was going on. So he wakes up. There's zombies everywhere. He doesn't know what's going on. Then this guy comes. His name is Morgan. And Morgan's like, are you a walker? Did you get bit? And he's like, no, I didn't get bit. I got shot. And then he's like, I swear if you try anything with me and my boy, I'm going to punch you in the face. Kill you. Actually, I think he pretty said it. He was going to kill him. He's like, why would I try anything? So they're sitting there. He's trying to tell him, like, listen, you've got these things, these zombies. They're called walkers. One, they're called walkers. 2, if you get bit, you're going to turn into one. 3, you get this really, you can't tell that there's 3 here because the camera, I'm new to this, sorry. 3, if you get bit and you are alive, you will get a crazy fever, you'll die, and then you'll come back to life. 4, the only way that you can kill a walker, right in the head. So don't try and do anything else. So Rick is like, okay, this is a lot. Where's my wife and child? So, because really, that's where him and Morgan meet, is when he goes back to his house and he's like, oh, Carl, oh, Lori, because they weren't there. So then he realizes that they actually got out because all the pictures are gone. And Morgan's like, for real? And he's like, bruh, I'm telling you, the pictures are gone. That means they got out. I promise you. So he's like, all right. So they go, by the way, sorry, I'm forgetting things because I didn't do research before this. So Rick is a cop. He's a sheriff. In fact, that's how he got shot, because he was a sheriff and then he was in the hospital, blah, blah, blah. So they go to the sheriff's department and they get all these guns. And Rick is like, listen, I'm going to go to Atlanta because that's where they're saying all this good stuff is, because that's what Morgan said. Morgan's like, all the good stuff's in Atlanta. They got a cure. They maybe, whatever. Maybe your wife and kids are there. He's like, okay, I'm going to go to Atlanta and see what happens, So he's like, I'm going to go to Atlanta. So this is what happens when they're at this station. They're like, I'm going to go to Atlanta. I'm going to give you these walkie-talkies. You deal with what you got to do here. Boom. Let's freeze there for a second. Got to go back to Morgan's story. So Morgan has been around since the beginning of this thing. And Morgan has a son named Dwayne Wayne. That's how I remembered. Whitley, Dwayne Wayne, flip ups. Not the same Dwayne Wayne, but that's his name. His name's Dwayne. So Morgan has Dwayne, and then his wife got bit. So his wife is a walker, and she comes around and she's like, and she's all like, I'm a walker, I'm gonna eat you, blah blah. And he's afraid to kill her because that's his wife. And it's like, when you see your wife, you're kind of like, well, I know her as a human being, not as a walker. What do I do? Blah blah blah. And he's like, I can't kill her. So when Rick is saying, do what you gotta do, what he's really saying is, kill your wife, come meet me in Atlanta. And Morgan's like, okay, bro, I can do that. So my question is, though, but maybe, I'm sorry, I'm hoping that people that have seen the show will help me answer this, but in the first couple seasons, it seems that walkers have an idea of what their previous lives were, i.e. Morgan's wife harassing them, legitimately harassing them by their house and trying to get into their house. Also, what about her flickering on the doorknob? Because later on, spoiler alerts, all the walkers do, they don't do anything with their brains with the doorknob. They just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until they get in. I don't understand that. When did the walkers stop using their brains? Is it like a new brand of walker that kind of happens? Did they just kind of let that storyline go? Were the walkers too smart? So now, questions I just want to see answered. Didn't know if you guys thought about it. Just want to know. I'll do research later. So here we are. Rick, Morgan. They are at the police station. Morgan goes off to kill his wife. We think. I don't know. That's really what's going on. And Rick's like, I'ma go. So Rick's driving, da 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 da. And he's like on his little radio. He's like, hi, my name's Rick Grimes, and I'm lost, and I'm looking for some sort of life. I'm looking for life. Now, boom, let's go back. Sorry, a lot of stuff happened in the first episode. Probably this whole episode is going to be me explaining the first few episodes so you guys can kind of know what's going on. So, boom. First episode, before Rick gets shot, you see he's with this guy. This guy is named Shane. Shane is his partner. He's talking about how, like, females are crazy and how, they don't turn off lights or something. I vaguely remember that part. I don't know why I remember that part, but anyway, so he's there, and he's the one that's there that when Rick gets shot. So he's like, oh my gosh. So they go, boom, Rick gets shot. He's like, oh my gosh, bro, hold on. And then he needs to find the hospital. And he like leaves these flowers. He's like, the lady at the office got the flowers, and we're praying for you, and we're pulling for you, just get better. So then that is the last memory that Rick has. And that's the last memory that we see. And then Rick wakes up and he looks at the flowers, and the flowers are dead. So enough time has gone by that the flowers have died. So that can range from like 3 days to like a week. I've had flowers last like 3 or 4 weeks, so it could have been that long. So that's not important to the story. Just hear me out. So it's been this long. So we don't know where Shane is. We don't know, if Shane is alive. We don't know. Did he make it? We don't know. So, fast forward to this moment. You see where I'm going with this. Rick is on the what's it called? The word, walkie-talkie, right. So he's on the walkie-talkie. My name's Rick Grimes, and I'm trying to find my wife and children, and I'm going to Atlanta, da-da-da-da. And then you see this old man, and he's like, I gotta get to him. He needs to know not to go to Atlanta because bad things are afoot. He's like, and then he's like, son, why don't you come and fix this? And he's like, then you hear a voice, and he's like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. Boom! It's Shane. Shane is alive. You knew it. You saw where I was going. So Shane is alive. He's trying to talk to Rick, but he doesn't know it's Rick. He just, he doesn't say it's Rick Grimes. That didn't happen. I just made that up. But he doesn't know it's Rick. But he's like trying to talk to him. He's like, it's not working. So then, glance over, you see this woman and this child. See where I'm going with this. So this woman and child, they're talking about something, I don't know, and I don't know, something, Shane said something stupid, I don't know, and then the woman gets mad, and then he's like, she runs away, and then Shane like goes, and he's like trying to talk to her, and he's like, listen, you and your boy, you and your boy need to, I'm here to protect you guys. The boy's already lost his father, da da da. So then she's like, okay, and then they kiss. Yes, they kiss, and the little boy walks in, and then they stop kissing, and then the next scene, you see a picture of Lori and Carl. Lori and Carl are the same people that are at that campsite thing. And yes, it's exactly what you think. Lori and Carl, Rick's child and wife, not in that order that I just said, are with Shane, and Shane and Lori are a thing. They're a thing. We don't know if they were a thing before or if they're a thing after, because there was a whole conversation about how she probably wants to divorce Rick and all this stuff. So we don't know if they've been doing this thing for a while or if this is like a new thing. We don't know what's going on. Oh my goodness, that was such a good first episode. So Rick is on the way to Atlanta. Go back to Morgan. Morgan goes up into the top of his house. He says, Lil Dwayne, don't come upstairs. Sets up his rifle, starts shooting, pow, 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 shooting out these walkers. Then he sees his wife. His wife's like, oh, she looks right at the wife. Which again, can we just talk about how do they know if they don't have brains? Because later on they don't have brains, but she's like a super walker or something, because she knows. Anyways, we won't talk about that. So she's like, and he tries to shoot her. He's like, and then he just breaks down and starts crying. And it's like, oh, poor Morgan can't kill his wife. Sad. So that's the end of the Morgan thing. We don't see Morgan for a little bit after that, so we won't talk about him anymore. So we see Rick. He's somehow he got a horse, because I think his truck like ran out of gas or something. So he's like galloping into Atlanta, and you see all these cars trying to get out, and not one car trying to get in. Bruh, that would have been your first duh. If no one's trying to get in, why would you try to go in? Whatever, fine. You're not the smartest cookie. We'll learn later. So, right, scalping in. I'm big sheriff in town, because he's got his sheriff outfit and his little hat. Galloping. He's got all these guns, by the way, because he took them from when he went and raided his office area. And then he turns his corner. Zombies everywhere. They're like, but this again. Can we talk about the zombie thing again? Because these zombies were able to run, legitimately, run. And all the other zombies in later seasons, all they do is just go like this. Like Michael Jackson Thriller walk. They don't really run. So are the zombies later just lazy? Maybe they don't have enough blood to, I don't know. I'm just, again, the zombie consistency in this show really bothers me a little bit, not gonna lie. So anyways, these zombies are running, we're trying to kill you, blah, blah, blah. And Rick's like, with the horse. So then he drops the guns, and you're like, oh my gosh, why would you drop the guns? So then he doesn't know what to do. He drops the guns. He tries to figure out where they are, and there's this huge army tank right next to him. So the horse gallops and throws Rick off, and then the zombies take down the horse. It's this poor horse did not ask to be in this scenario. He was fine in the woods. Yeah, he wasn't eaten, but at least he wasn't being eaten. Am I right? So this poor horse getting eaten by the zombies. And then Rick goes inside of this army tank that just happens to be there, because that's just how Rick's luck is. He just happens to be by an army tank. Gets in the army tank. He thinks he's safe, and then all of a sudden, he's sitting next to this army guy, and the army guy just kind of turns to him "Ma," and he's like, "Ah!" And then he shoots him, boom, right in the head. But it's an army tank, so there's all this echo, pew, in the ear, that's all he's saying, and you just see Rick in slow motion, oh, because he doesn't know what to do, because Rick's mouth is all, oh, and then he finally comes to, after a minute, and all you hear is, hey, you, in the tank. He says like some bad words, but I won't say that. You in the tank. You think that was smart or something like that. I can't remember exact words. I'll do research on it next time. And then you're like, oh my gosh, he's not alone. So then the camera pans out, and then you see the army tank, and you see all these zombies, and you see the zombies eating the horse over here, and then there's like zombies everywhere, all over the city of Atlanta. It's just like zombies, walkers, zeeks, geeks, whatever you want to call them. And that's the end of the first episode. And I think that's all we really need to talk about right now. I don't think I need to really do anything else with that. But, stay tuned for next week. I'm going to go over next week. This isn't a show. Why would I make you wait next week? Because honestly, that's why I hate watching TV. But stay tuned until tomorrow. I don't know. Whenever I feel like doing the next one. Because I'm currently watching season 1, episode 5. And that is when they move from out of the forest. And they go to find the CDC. And, a lot of stuff has happened between then and now. Let me tell you, folks. Let me tell you. So, takeaways right now, these are the things we're looking for. All right. 1, will Rick find Lori and Carl? 2, will Lori and Shane continue, being Lori and Shane? 3, how long have Lori and Shane been this thing? What's going on? 4, will Rick make it out of this army tank? 5, who is this mysterious voice? Who is this mysterious voice in the walkie-talkie thing that's in the tank? Also, how did he even get the walkie-talkie in the tank? That's also a great question. How did that happen? Oh, and 4, these zombies, where's the consistency here, people? That's really my question, because I don't really understand that. So there's a lot of questions that we need answered, Mr. Walking Dead, and next time, my friends, we will answer those questions. Godspeed.